clash of the titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We'll wait till we got some viewers watching. How are you guys doing? We had some technical difficulties, so we, had to jump on here. We're a little bit late. Sorry.
Wait, who had the technical difficulties?
I had technical.
There we go. There's no way. Hey, Sam, real quick.
Listen, it's not my fault. Matt went to a Nickelback concert. Okay.
Right.
Yep. Shout out to Matt Briggs.
Who's at Nickelback? Getting ways to that Nickelback.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at this pre-production. Every time I do it, makes me laugh. Okay.
Hey, Sam, real quick. You shared the podcast to the group, but not the podcast page, so I can't share it out.
Should have automatically done it.
Okay.
You might want to check. But
here we go. I found it.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh wait. Yes, I found it.
We can't see you, by the way.
He's invisible.
You can't?
No.
I can see me.
No, John Cena. We can't see you.
You can't see him.
I'm looking at you right now in like the room thing. Hold on.
Nope.
That's weird.
I mean, I can see your photo at the bottom, but you're not actually on the live stream. Hurry, AFC South Fan Battle Group. Make fun of Harish. Now's your chance.
Looks like Sam's not the only one with technical problems.
Ha ha, that's what happens when you talk shit. Listen, if you guys are in the group, start commenting. Like, let's get some comments. Let's get the ball rolling so we can get started. The first comment that pops up, we're going to start. And it better be Donnie Stingley. I'm just saying.
Yep, the first fan to guess Agent Ha's favorite brand of mayonnaise gets a free jar.
Boom, first. And that came from the AFC South Fan Battle Group. So anytime you guys comment in our private group, it shows you just as Facebook user. So make sure if you want us to shout you out that you put your name on your comment, because since it's a private group, it shows up as private.
So congratulations for not getting credit for being first, whoever that was.
Yeah, if whoever was first, give me your name so I can.
Or don't.
It's John Ha.
Oh, boo. Boo. Lame. That doesn't count.
I know. I thought it'd be funny.
All right. Anybody on any of the platforms? Let's see. We're streaming on Twitch. We're streaming on my personal page, podcast page, the private group, YouTube, Twitter, Fan Battle Sports Network. We're everywhere. We need a comment from somebody. We got some viewers.
Also, side note, how many different brands of mayonnaise are there? Isn't there just like 2?
Oh,
well, John, you're
many.
the Titans commentator.
That's what I'm asking.
How do you not know that?
No.
Isn't there just like 2?
Oh man, there's
like,
Dukes and there's Hellmans and there's Bermans and there's so many.
What?
We're commenting on our own stuff. Hi, Coach Conte. All right, here we go. Harish is on. All right.
Hello.
Let's do this so we can edit.
Go home.
Go home. Shut up. So we can get the audio portion. Here we go. As soon as someone's done messing with their mic. That's probably Harish too. Nope. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. My name is Samantha Burnett. We have some OGs and some new people on tonight. And actually, Nova, Harish's dog, is making an appearance. We can hear her in the background. But let me introduce our commentators for this evening. Representing the Colts, we have Harish Nukala.
You know, it's been a long time, and I'm glad you guys missed me, so I've decided to finally return.
Welcome back, buddy. We've missed you.
I know.
Representing the Titans, we have the Titans fans' favorite Titans commentator, Agent Ha.
People's champ is here.
All right, Paul Wall, calm down. Calm down, Paul Wall. And representing the Jaguars, we have the second best Josh Allen.
Yep, correct.
And for the first time, and we're gonna hope that he comes back after all of this. Representing the Texans, we have Coach Dante.
What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good? Trust me, I'm coming back. I ain't afraid of nothing. I'm coming back.
Oh, I hope not.
He's already the nicest person that's ever appeared on this podcast. So,
Seriously, I appreciate that, but I don't know how to take it. Like I'm like ready. Like I'm got my like fists up. Like, come on, I'm ready to talk shit. And you're like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, what? I'm so kind. I'm so confused. Listen, welcome to Fan Battle. I tried to get him to be mean to me in pre-production too, and even that didn't work. This is just the kindest commentator
It's
ever.
a strategy. He's waiting for his moment.
It's still preseason, so I'm sure if we have you on during the regular season, you'll be plenty pissed off at me by then. So,
well, that's if he's around after the first 4 weeks.
Oh, see, you gonna let him talk to you like that, Dante?
I ain't worried about trash talking. That don't faze me at all.
He's a Colts
We'll
fan.
just see when we get on the field.
Yeah, he's a Colts fan.
Oh, don't worry, you got 10 days to that one. I'm excited too.
Well, we already know they're going to
13
lose.
days.
We already know they're going to lose week 2 in Jacksonville, so we don't have to worry about that.
Wrong.
It's fine.
Y'all
They
love
never
being
won in
wrong.
Jacksonville. But Dante, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Oh man, first of all, thank y'all guys for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. Diehard Texans fan. I coach Little League football, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. I also do YouTube and Coach Dante. I'm also executive of the Spotlight Sports Network, NFL, basketball, baseball, hockey. We cover it all over there. Like I say, I'm just a cool, laid back person, and I'm just ready. I'm not only a Texans fan, but I'm a football fan as a whole. So again, I'm just thank you guys for having me on.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and I love that you work with kids and do that with kids because that's always my biggest thing. Of course, we're not like a kid-friendly podcast, but like my son gets to see us do it. We have football players on here and stuff, and I just appreciate people that work with the kids in the sport. That's where it starts, is at the young age, and all these guys now at one time were that age. So you're gonna have a future professional.
Sounds like Coach Dante and I need to start up the hockey wing of the Fan Battle Network.
Hey, there you go.
It's actually really funny. When I was a kid, I didn't know before I knew babies existed. I just thought I woke up and I was 8 or 9. I never thought I went to a kid phase. Is that weird, or is that just me? No. Okay. Well, Let's move on to the next topic now.
You never were a kid, Harish?
I don't remember being a kid.
Man, I didn't know this was like a childhood drama Fan Battle podcast.
I have a lot of
Tell us
drama
about-
child.
Welcome to the AFC South Therapy Podcast.
Oh, we need a lot of that.
We've had some special therapy sessions on this podcast.
We already have some comments coming in from the group, though. Let's hit these up real quick. Ready to serve the Colts a loss on opening day for the 10th straight year. So I'm assuming that's a Jaguars fan.
A loser fan. Well, I mean, we don't play y'all on opening day, so it wouldn't be a
home.
Jaguars
It's
fan.
our home opener. So.
Nobody cares about that. That's not opening day.
Anyways, and then someone else said, "What is your favorite Nickelback song?" And I think that's probably because Matt ditched us, which is why production was so crazy today to go to a Nickelback concert. So shout out to Matt. By the way, we don't know that he actually went to a Nickelback concert. We're just assuming because he stood us up for Nickelback.
He didn't say he wasn't going. So
that's true. The consensus is either Nickelback or Machine Gun Kelly. We're not sure which one.
I think it could be Shania Twain also.
Oh, it could be. Yes. He is in Kansas, so
True.
who knows?
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right into it, guys. NFL news. So, Josh Allen.
Yo.
We're gonna let you kick this one off.
Oh yes, we last
There,
week
raise
we
the
banished a certain name because of activities, allegations of activities that we're going to talk about similar today. NFL rookie punter Matt Araiza for the Bills has been booted from Buffalo because allegations have surfaced from his time in college, where he is accused, along with a few other guys, of gang raping a lady at a party. And apparently,
I don't even think you could call her a lady. She was a child. She was 17.
Yeah, good point. Yep. So she was underage. Lot of problematic things here, not only for Mr. Araiza, but for the Bills. A lot of questions around what did the Bills know and when did they know it, and what actions did they want to take, not want to take. There are allegations that they named him the starting punter for the team after having found out that he was accused of these things. And from what I can see, these seem to be credible allegations. These aren't people popping up and making allegations where the timing seems somewhat suspect. But it looks like this young man's in a lot of trouble, and the Bills have cut him from the squad. But I think it's sort of sad because it feels like the Bills only cut him. Yeah, it feels like the Bills only cut him because people got mad at them, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I saw kind of like where it wasn't so much like, hey, yeah. Essentially, they were saying we're not cutting him because of it, but we're cutting him so he can focus on it.
Yeah, it just fits in the reputation that the NFL has, where they don't care about issues for the right reasons, right? And they're willing to overlook certain things if it's beneficial to their bottom line. Listen, these are allegations. I don't know that they did that. It's just not a good look for the Bills. Certainly not a good look for Matt Araiza. So I mean, if he did what he's accused of doing, I hope he spends a whole lot of time in jail and reaps the consequences of his actions. Right? Just not not a good story all around. Just all around bad.
Good. So let's move on.
Yep.
To another really sad story, unfortunately. Robinson Jr., the rookie running back from the Washington Commanders. He was actually named starting running back yesterday. And, people were picking him up in fantasy and everything. It was kind of like during most people's fantasy drafts that this happened. And then literally an hour or two later, it came out and the rumors started coming out from the Schefters and people like that saying he had been shot. I guess there was like a robbery or a suspected carjacking. Dude, prayers for that guy. I hate to hear stories like this. Like, regardless, of course you hate to hear it for anybody, but this kid just had his dreams come true. Literally, he's made it into the NFL, and then gets named the starter, makes it through training camp, and now is in a hospital having surgery. Does anybody know any details?
Well, it was a carjacking. Allegedly, there's been a rash of carjackings in the D.C. metro area. A couple of years ago, there was a guy that was carjacked by a couple of teenage girls, and they drove off with the car. He climbed in it, and he ended up dying. Like, there was a car accident. The guy died. The girls are in jail. Their families are being sued by the family of the victim. So there's some heat on the powers that be in D.C. about why have they not solved that problem, right? Now that somebody of prominence has been affected by it, which is sad that it has to be somebody who's a football player to be affected. But and then the Commanders are taking a little bit of heat in this story because they came out today and said we have not ruled him out for week 1. And I'm like, maybe let the dude not play, right? Like, he just got shot twice.
Well, and I wonder, because that kind of goes both ways.
He's in stable condition. We don't know how severe his injury is, but still,
it was lower extremities.
He got surgery. He had surgery today, and they said it was basically it's like his glutes that he got shot in, but it was actually close enough if it was the right spot. It could have been life threatening. Yeah. So he's lucky, man. Apparently there were 2 robbers. He fought off one, and then the other one is the one that shot him multiple times.
According to Coach Rivera, he says it's really up to the doctors at this point. He says we haven't ruled him out, but that's just because this is what it is. I mean, he doesn't have a decision when he heals.
Yeah, I just happened to be on Twitter when that news sort of broke, and it was not well received by the Twitter sphere. When he came out, just one of the things I think it came across as a little bit crass to even talk about whether or not he would play in that moment, right? Because some of I'm not saying right or wrong, but it was just interesting to see some folks had a very visceral reaction to them even talking about whether or not he would play in week 1, considering that
sure
the news was pretty fresh.
I just wonder if it was their way of kind of saying he's okay.
Yeah, maybe.
He's not dying. you know, like their way of saying it without, because like
Yep.
HIPAA, you know, it'd be a HIPAA violation, maybe. I don't know. You know, it's like a way
Yeah, I
of
don't know.
like avoiding. I don't know. This is just all.
I don't think if you listen to what Rivera said, it didn't come across as insensitive, but when you sort of read it, it felt a little more insensitive to the situation.
So we have this comment, and I want to decipher this because I don't understand. Regarding NFL news and Josh's comment about the NFL not caring if it affects their money, does Aaron Donald receive any discipline for swinging helmets?
He should, but they won't.
Nothing
They
that
won't
we'll
do
hear
it.
about.
Yeah.
I think so, and so my point is, I think that's the point he was trying to make, right? Like when it
So
comes,
technically,
He's just
unless
adding to your point.
and technically, unless the league decides that they're going to go after Aaron Donald under the clause of conduct unbecoming, or detrimental to the league, technically, according to the CBA, what I read this week is that the NFL cannot suspend or punish players
They
for
can't do
activity in
practice,
practices
In
or
practice.
scrimmages.
Because that's up to the teams, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
so-
really, it's like, which we all know. I mean, which is kind of dumb because what are the
Yeah.
Rams going to do? Like the Rams aren't incentivized to punish him, so why are we giving them the go ahead to punish their players?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
yeah, the only thing that they can do, the NFL can do, is if staff isn't properly treating, like with Urban Meyer last year.
Right.
Like if staff is doing it, but individual players, because it's affecting the team and not the NFL. It's not an NFL game.
Yep.
I think had Aaron Donald actually injured somebody, there's sort of
That's-
a path where that player could then file
Right.
a grievance via the NFLPA and say like, hey, something's got to be done. This guy, cost me money, cost me possibly my
Did
livelihood.
Myles Garrett
Right.
actually hurt anybody?
No, but that happened during a
Exact-
game.
I
That
know, but
happened
that's
during
the
the
difference
game,
is that-
yeah.
But we're
Yeah.
saying that it would have made a difference if he hurt somebody. I don't think so.
Well,
I
I don't
think that
think not as far as whether he's deserved. I think something should happen to him, but I'm saying as another player could put pressure on the league if they had actually been injured. Not that it makes it more wrong for
Yeah.
him to have swung the helmet, but
And
Well,
they're really
and I
tied.
think the whole point.
They're re-
Go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead,
I was- they're really tied by the CBA and the NFLPA, right? And
Yeah.
it's really based off the wording in those things. And I think it was already called out that the CBA this last time around was very poorly worded and very poorly done.
Yeah.
It was a disadvantage to the players, and this is kind of one of those things where it's like, where do you cross the line? Essentially, Aaron Donald can do whatever the hell he wants, right?
Well, yeah, and that's in their coach, Sean McVay. He had already done a press conference, and he pretty much just said, without saying, "Yeah, we're not even going to really punish him." It's like he
Yeah.
might get fined, but it's like he's like, "Yeah, we're not even going to tell you guys what his punishment is. We're dealing with it. That's it. Don't ask any more questions." Which basically translates to, "Great, he's going to be there week 1 to sack the real best Josh Allen."
Well, and it kind of, I think to Josh's point that he was trying to make is like the NFL is known for hiding sex offenses, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
That's their MO is, and we've known that from the last few weeks, right? And that's kind of the thing, like, what do they know, right? That's the point you were trying to make. Am I wrong?
yes. The NFL has a reputation for when their players behave in a way that's detrimental to women specifically, they don't come down as harshly as they do, say, when a player gets popped for smoking weed, right? And I'm not
Right.
condoning listen, I don't want to get into everybody's opinions on smoking weed. So in the comment section, it is what it is.
Well,
But
betting.
the NFL clearly doesn't have even-handed discipline,
Look at
or
betting.
even yeah, exactly, or
Betting's
for
the
betting,
final
right?
example.
Like so.
Yeah.
So you would think, I just think from a lot of people feel from a human being standpoint, the sexual abuse crimes and the things that players, and not all of them.
Well, here's a comment. Here's a
Yeah.
comment based off that. He choked people during the games and other incidents as well. The point is, when will the NFL stop picking and choosing battles? And
Yeah.
that's
When he's on the decline.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not
never.
defending Aaron Donald.
So back to the point of like practices and teams, right? Like, look what Tom Coughlin used to do to players, and he would piss them off just for like showing up late for a photo. Meanwhile, Brady just missed all that time and nobody batted an eye. They asked him
Well,
why,
it's
and he
no
was like,
surprise that if you were like at a high caliber player that you're going to get away with most. But this is one of those things where it's like, it doesn't matter who you are, you shouldn't be getting away with that.
Correct.
Right. It should
Yeah.
be even. And
Right.
yeah.
The CBA should outline that there are certain activities, no matter who you are, you should not be able to get away unscathed. Swinging a helmet at somebody, it should be one of those things. It just should.
Oh, look,
regardless.
a comment we can all agree on. Goodell, the
Oh,
worst
just about to say
commissioner
that.
in the NFL history. He's been picking and choosing since forever. You are correct.
I was just about to say this. His 1000%. His handling of disciplinary issues, between his entire tenure as the NFL commissioner have been nothing but a joke. Like,
Well, and I know I said I wouldn't talk about it, but the prime example is the Deshaun Watson
the
suspension.
whole Watson thing.
Come
Yeah.
on now, you literally fought that because you wanted him to come back and play the Texans. Come on.
Yeah.
That's what you
And then-
wanted
yeah.
to happen. You wanted his first game back to be against his former team that he sat out on because of money. Exactly.
It
That's
feels like
like-
all their decisions are made through the lens of public relations rather than what's the right thing to do.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
Roger Goodell isn't incentivized
Yeah.
to do the right thing. He's incentivized by making money for the owners and
Correct.
the league as a whole.
Yep.
So when something like this compromises the
Money.
marketability, that's where he's going to side with. It's the same thing with the Rams. They are not incentivized to punish Aaron Donald.
The
Roger
only way
Goodell
she-
is not
yeah.
incentivized. The only reason that Roger Goodell will come down hard on anybody is through the court of public opinion, which then could affect the bottom dollar.
Right.
I just don't know how anybody
And
else
it's
could
no
pick up
different
on
than
that.
any company you work for, by the way. It's just
It
the
isn't.
way it is in the
Oh,
world,
is
or
it-
at least
is-
in this country.
It's just the
Is
most
the NSA
relevant.
like that, John?
Oh
What's
yeah.
that?
Is the NSA like that?
It's no different no matter where you are.
It's just the most
Good.
relevant. It's just the most obvious because it's the NFL, the biggest.
Edward
business.
Snowden disagrees.
Yeah.
Well, I do think it's different too. There's more attention and a different sort of attention because this isn't a guy that's curing cancer, right? Like the NFL isn't something. It's entertainment, right? So you let these people that are doing things that are entertaining get away with
Let's
stuff.
wait
That's,
till we hear about Aaron Donald's theories on the human genome before we start saying he's not.
well,
curing
sure, I hear you. There's always the possibility, but the NFL itself isn't designed, right? And not that you should excuse bad behavior, but I think people get more frustrated with it because they say, it's just like the whole fuss over people standing or not standing for the national anthem.
We get
But,
upset because there's blatant hypocrisy all over it.
Right.
That's the reason why we get upset.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, and it costs $0 to just not be a piece of shit. So how about that? We'll wrap it up on that one. Dante, you've been really quiet. You got a comment?
No, like I said, I mean, I agree with everybody. Everybody said it doesn't matter how great of a player you is, you should always be, kind of disciplined when something goes wrong. Like that's unfortunate. Like, I mean, Myles Garrett hit somebody over the head with a helmet cannot be punished. And Aaron Donald, no matter how great he is, he may be a Super Bowl champion. He may be the best D tackle in the game of football. You should always be punished when you jump up out of line on something like that. So I definitely agree with everybody was saying. And, Roger Goodell, the way he botched the Deshaun Watson case, I definitely agree with it. What everybody's saying that he's the worst. He's the worst commissioner for us handling punishment, giving out some punishment. So I agree with everybody saying.
Taking him.
Well, yes, Roger Goodell is terrible, but we've had commissioners in the past that would just sweep things under the rug and not even allow these things to come to light.
I think the big disappointment with Roger Goodell is that he comes out and he talks tough, like he did with Deshaun Watson. He said we're going to go him after a year suspension, but then he never seems to really stick to his guns, right? And that can just be a symptom of sometimes you have to negotiate the best sort of deal you can get when you're dealing with labor unions, which is essentially what the NFLPA is. But I think that I know for me, I look at that sometimes and I'm like, just stop talking so tough if you're not actually ever going to pull the trigger on the things you say you're going to do.
Are you trying to say he's a bitch?
I don't know that I'd use that word. I'm just saying
I think
everything
that
is
we could,
done. Everything is done is sort of a
It's
again.
politics.
It's a publicity stuff.
Well, I think that we could fix all of this if we just add a new patch to the players' jerseys. Send a message. that
Or
we-
if- Yeah.
Good.
hypocrisy.
Make them like NASCAR cars, and people can buy spots on their jersey for advertisement.
Right.
Yeah, we just need something that says "in hypocrisy" on the inside.
Well, then that would just go to the players. We don't want that.
True. How dare we? How dare we give them the money?
We should make it a poster in all of their press boxes, and then
Yeah.
show it on every broadcast.
Yes.
I agree. Let's pitch that.
Let's do it. Yeah,
I'm
let me
sure-
tweet him right now. I'm
I'm
sure,
sure
he's
Uncle Raj will pick up on that one real quick.
he's really excited to read my tweet.
Dude, nothing will ever, like, not to be off topic, but nothing will ever get me more than when I did that NFL draft, the inner circle thing. And so they did the NFL draft, and since it was during COVID, like, we were all in our rooms, living rooms, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
like these fans or whatever, and this motherfucker was wasted. Like, we could see what people could see on TV, like we were seeing like during commercial break, and he's like, "I want someone to boo me," and he's like holding the cards upside down and shit.
No.
Who was it? Who did
Roger
this?
Roger
Goodell.
Goodell.
I don't remember that.
He was wasted. Well, you guys didn't see what we got to see,
Oh.
and he's
Yeah,
like,
you're
sitting
not
here going,
special enough.
I miss it. I want someone to boo me. Well, no, there was a picture of him holding the card upside down. Google that for later. He was wasted, and he's like, "I'm gonna sit down. My feet hurt." He's like literally in his living room too, just drinking whiskey and getting drunk. It gave me a little bit of respect.
So
for
he's
him.
no different from anybody else working at home.
That's what I was saying. Like at that moment, I was
Whoa.
like, "Oh, this guy ain't so bad. This guy ain't so bad."
Uh,
But anyways,
drink whiskey while I work.
okay.
Hey, the
Call your
people
boss.
that are working at home are either drinking whiskey or watching porn. So I guess we know what Harish is doing.
Hey.
So we had somebody says he's the best commissioner. Boo.
Can you block that person from all of our broadcasts in the future, please? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Talking
Right,
about
block.
some offenses must be punished. That must be punished.
All right, listen. Fantasy draft. Any of you do fantasy this week?
I
And
did.
John? Did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I just didn't do our the one that's in this group. I just did my own.
Oh, that's
Dante, did you
obvious.
do one?
I'm doing one Sunday on my
You're just
network
smarter.
group.
That's so smart because, like, look what's happened. Like,
Ah.
I don't know why we choose to do this so early.
I do have a question though that relates to this group. I have Michael Pittman and Christian Kirk on my team. So what's the thoughts? Who should I go with?
Michael Pittman.
Well, and Kirk is, I mean, they just traded Visca today.
So you're saying Michael Pittman?
Michael Pittman is the
Absolute
obvious number one on
Jaguar.
a
He's the Jaguar
Yeah.
commentator. I'm the non-biased.
yeah. Michael
I'm not
Pittman is
answering
the
that question.
Michael Pittman is the obvious number one in a wide receiver group that is very questionable. So
But
that's my thoughts.
Wait,
I,
Michael Pittman is the number one wide receiver overall.
Yeah, for the Colts, yeah. Everybody else is
Oh, okay. I
unproven
thought
and
you were
too
saying
young.
like in the NFL, like for fantasy,
it's Harish.
NFL.
It's
like,
Harish. He did.
I was like, wait, you're saying that
That's
like
what
he's the number one wide receiver that should be taken in all fantasy leagues?
No, he's the
I think-
obvious number one.
I think you should start Christian Kirk so that you understand what it's like to be a Jags fan. You should
So start
understand
Michael-
our suffering.
Listen, you guys want to hear how awful I am? I have this tradition, and this is so like against fantasy, but like I've gotten first place one year. I think 2 years ago, or no, 2 years ago I got second. I've gotten first place like once, right? But I'm like too proud to like pick smartly, and I don't even care if it's $100 league. I will not pick Tom Brady. Like I won't pick him.
I will not pick a Titans player ever. I had a chance to get Derrick Henry. I didn't take him.
I
I won't take him. I won't do it.
I picked up Derrick Henry.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
take
pick up
Derrick Henry.
anybody from my team at all.
Was
Period.
it, I think it was last year. Didn't I have Derrick Henry and AJ Brown? Y'all were making fun of me.
Oh, jeez, wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, I literally picked up Trevor Lawrence Because-
Jesus Christ.
because we don't know what's going to go on with Trey Lance. Okay.
I
And
actually have Trevor Lawrence as well.
see.
But
Not the
there's
only dumb.
extenuating circumstances. We have a person in our league who decided to be one of these people, and he drafted a quarterback with his first 5 picks, and he took all of the top quarterbacks so that he could trade them away. I was like, you're a freaking idiot because you're just going to have to drop them. And he did
Right.
drop them, and we all got free quarterbacks.
Nice.
Yeah. I picked up Trevor Lawrence, but
I would have started like as many games as I could with those quarterbacks. I would have just
Right.
said nope.
Just said
All
what
right,
happened.
you're not getting them.
Can only start one.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
mean, the only way that
You
would
got to
make
commit
sense,
to the bit, man.
the only way that would make
he
sense
was
is in
gonna
an
have to,
auction
but
league.
he decided
You
not
know?
to.
I mean, auction league's fine because then you're selling your people. I guess I've never played an auction league, but I don't know. I got an A+ on both of my drafts. I'm just saying. Of course, both of them. The one was like, you would have scored however many points higher if you would have.
Oh yes, because
But
these
not
automated
picked up-
pre-draft or post-draft ratings are so meaningful.
That
Well,
basically means
was
you're gonna
just-
get last.
It was just funny because it was like,
You sure this isn't your first year in fantasy?
unfortunately, it's not. But it was like, I just like reading it after because it gives you like the tips, and it was like you would have
Yeah.
scored however many points higher if you wouldn't have picked up Trevor Lawrence
Oh,
or
God.
all these other players. But, you know
Yeah, I got
what?
Kyle Pitts. I'm excited about that. I think he's gonna have a big year.
I
Oh, yeah,
got
he's-
I got Aaron Rodgers in like the 10th round as a backup.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, that was in our league in the fan battle league. So thank you guys for auto drafting.
Yeah, you're welcome. I didn't auto draft, but you're welcome.
You're welcome. Thanks.
You might as well have.
Probably.
Probably.
I was at dinner when I was doing it. Who cares? It's free. It's
You were
free.
eating? Unreal.
I was eating hibachi.
Ooh.
I was like doing the whole like choo choo Japanese egg roll joke
There you go.
while I'm drafting, and then all of a sudden you'd hear Roger Goodell of all people would be like, "Your team is on the clock," and I'd be like,
Oh.
"Hold on,
Wait, that's his voice?
you can't
Oh.
know."
I mean, I always put it on.
I mean, I did a Roger Goodell voice last week, and Josh Allen made fun of it because I guess when I do my Roger Goodell voice, it sounds like Foghorn Leghorn. But
Yeah, it did.
I mean, they're pretty similar.
your team is on the
I'll
clock.
say. I'm not
Awesome.
punishing you.
Thank you for coming to the draft. Anyways, moving on. That's cool. Dante, you got anything about fantasy? You good?
Yeah, I just have fantasy. Mine's Sunday. I just have fantasy Sunday. I just come
Wow.
up Sunday with my network. So
Don't pick up Trevor Lawrence.
Do it. Don't listen to her, Dante.
Dude, the Jaguars' best receiver is Laviska Shenault.
Ew.
Panthers now.
Why not take him? You only need him for 1 week whenever your quarterback's on a bye.
Right.
True. All right. We got any comments? Man, y'all are loving. Adams, man, they're just going. Listen, the comments are going off about Roger Goodell. We like hit a trigger in the group. I'm not even gonna get
Awesome.
into this. I'm not even.
Oh, this is good stuff.
Y'all great.
This is what we call engagement.
All right, listen. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. is the deadline for the 53-man roster. So, we're wrapping up preseason. I think it's like 9 days. We'll have our first game of the regular season. Is it 9 or 10 days?
The 8th, whenever that is.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like 9 days.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's finally back. But that being
Oh,
said,
your face.
13 days.
no, it's not 13 days. Harish, did you forget to do math? How to do math?
10 days. Just kidding.
Math is hard, Harish, I know. So just so everybody knows, Harish does IT, not accounting. Thank God.
Well, I'm from a third world country. Our numbers are a little bit off.
You're from Texas.
Well, we can run our own country.
This
You didn't
statement,
hear?
listen, this statement stands. He's from a third world country. I've been to Texas. Texas is the most disappointing state I have ever been to. It is so hyped up as this grandiose, wonderful place to live. I went there,
Oh,
and
it
it was
sucks.
basically it was the
Okay, so
show
here's
King of
the
the
thing.
Hill in
Look,
real life.
Okay, here's the
Look,
thing. If we're
Dante's
going to be
about to
talking
jump
about
in
most
right now.
disappointing state coming from someone from Florida,
Bro, our state is amazing
What
compared
is
to Texas.
this, man?
I want you to spend a week in Texas and then come spend a week in Florida and tell me that you don't believe 100% that Florida is better than Texas.
Well, I actually need to go to Florida so I can have an accurate opinion on this. But Texas is not great. It actually sucks to live here.
I'll be in Florida in like a couple of weeks, actually.
Where are you going to be?
I'll be doing Orlando, all that touristy stuff.
Somebody's got to
Oh.
come get the wiretap
You're
info that
literally-
you put on your
Right.
line.
I
there,
know.
Sam.
Gotta get the wiretap app.
I
And
think
my-
it's
and my
week
kid.
2. I think week
And-
2 is when I'm in your guys' neighborhood.
So you're
for
going to
the
be here
game,
for the
right?
Colts game.
Oh, is that right?
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
trying to think.
You could be our saving grace.
How far is it to Jacksonville?
2 hours.
2
2
hours,
hours.
bro.
That
That's
might
not
be
too far.
doable.
That's not far at
Come
all.
on. I'll get
Bro,
Are
you.
you gonna give me a ticket? What are you going
I will
on?
get you a ticket if you.
Maybe the Jaguars can finally beat
Let's see. I
Matt
want to
Ryan.
make sure that the date. What am I? I'm coming.
18th.
Yeah, the 18th.
Yeah, I'll be getting in on the 17th. So
Maybe
John,
the,
come to Jackson.
Dude, I'll buy a ticket and come too, man.
maybe the
That'd be awesome.
maybe the Jaguars can finally beat Matt Ryan.
Okay, listen, calm down, sir.
Bro.
We
Our
Every
0-6
every
beat Matt Ryan.
every time the
may
Colts
lose.
get a different quarterback, they run the
Um,
same schmack.
didn't Jacksonville beat the Falcons in London one year?
No. Matt Ryan's undefeated against the Jags.
Oh, is that right? I thought. Oh
Yeah.
no, it was Cleveland. Cleveland
As
beat them in
as
London.
the number one Matt Ryan fan, how do you not know that?
It was I was thinking of Cleveland. It was Cleveland that did it in like 2014. I want to say
Oh yeah,
there was
yeah.
a London game where it was like a team that was like really terrible. No offense, I'm talking about 2014. I'm not talking about now. Not that much has changed, but
Well,
no
We're not
one's
gonna
arguing.
offend
there was some London game where the Falcons lost that they shouldn't have.
oh yeah, no, that was
a Super Bowl.
Yes, that one too. But this
28.
was not a London game. That was a Houston game.
28-3. Blew the lead.
Did you
All
guys
right.
see the Saints troll Atlanta with the new Superdome escalators being 28.3% faster
Yes, I
than
saw
they used to be?
that.
It was amazing.
Who didn't somebody else put like? I thought I saw something with stairs that somebody else did. I could be
Yeah, I
wrong.
don't know. Yeah,
Whatever. Anyways, moving on. 53-man roster tomorrow. Deadline's at 4. Let's start with the Colts. Harish, give us a rundown. Preseason's over. Who did you guys drop? Is there anybody left to cut? Who do you-
Nobody's. I think only one player's been dropped so far. It's just Jack Cohn, who's dog shit. But yeah, nothing's really been announced yet. We're just kind of chilling. So I think all of our news is coming out tomorrow. If there's a guy that's like where everybody's really curious about, it's Sam Ehlinger, who had a killer preseason. And he played really well last year, but then the issue with his brother passing away and he got injured kind of hurt him through the middle part of the preseason. So he played extremely well. I'm hoping we keep him. I mean, as a Longhorn fan and as a Colts fan, it'd be awesome to see him stay on the 53, but it's really our only way to keep him at this point, because if he goes practice squad, somebody's going to take him. So really it's Sam Ehlinger watch for a lot of fans in Indy because he's just played so well.
Well, speaking of Longhorns, not to cut you off, but today was exactly a year ago that I always say that. Michael Griffin came on the podcast. It was exactly a year ago. He's throwing up.
That's my guy.
For the audio listeners, he's throwing up the
Welcome horns, baby.
Hey,
Let's
hold on.
go.
Also, real quick, Coach, you got a comment?
Hey, shout out to my guy Vic 3. That's my guy Vic 3, y'all, that came in the chat. So shout out to my guy Vic 3, man. What's good, man?
Victory, what it do, baby?
Better than
What's up?
6-7.
And
What's
we
up,
also
Victory?
got the
Tell
East
us your
Coast
favorite
woman.
brand of mayonnaise.
Hey, that's my guy too, ECG. He's also a diehard Jaguars fan. That's my guy,
Yeah.
East Coast Gridiron. He's a diehard
ECG,
Jaguars fan.
You're not as cool as the other guy, ECG, but
Duval.
what up, dude?
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
So, anyways, go ahead, Harish. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
But yeah, that's really pretty much it. It's really it really just depends on where we need depth. We really need some D-line depth because I don't know if anybody saw any of the Colts games, probably not, but our backups on defense are absolutely atrocious. So if anybody on defense gets hurt, we're screwed. So hopefully there's some guys up there that we can pick up. Not very confident in anybody outside of our starters on the defensive end of the ball. Matt Ryan, he looked okay, but it's really vanilla offense. He's only had one touchdown drive all preseason. I'm not thinking too much into that because Jonathan Taylor nor Naheem Hines played all preseason. And I think Michael Pittman only played like one series. So, yeah, we'll see.
I imagine he was just in there for like cadence purposes.
Could be, yeah. But Matt Ryan, he actually had a solid drive the other day where he threw a really good pass to Michael Pittman.
John,
But
Matt,
we'll see what happens.
calm down, John.
Yeah.
John,
Well,
John's
well,
shedding a tear.
Oh, I should come to because I can go to a Matt Ryan game.
you can
That's
go to
a
Matt
cool
Ryan
fun.
game. There
All
you
right,
go.
I didn't even think about that. Let's do
You
it.
could. Yeah. We'll send you your Matt Ryan jersey. So you can
I
wear it
have
to
a
the
Matt
game.
Ryan jersey.
Oh, perfect. We'll send you
Not a
the
Colts
right
one,
one.
though. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, we'll send you the right one. We don't want you to
Wait.
embarrass yourself.
I'm not
No,
letting you wear
no.
that. I'm not letting you wear it.
I'll wear it all day.
Yeah.
No,
my guy.
the Colts one, I'll rip it off.
No,
you.
not the Colts one. The Falcons one.
Yeah, fine. I'm not letting you wear a Colts jersey. I already had to wear a Colts shirt once when I lost a bet.
Gross.
Yeah, I had to.
Wanna-
I had to
wanna do
wear
another
a Colts-
one.
Yeah, we won. We won that game. So go ahead, send it to me.
Okay.
It said Colts jumper on the back of it. In it. So stupid. That was like the worst bet ever.
Well, I mean, it was a bet. It's supposed to be embarrassing.
I had a sign that said I lost a bet, and so I have to wear this ugly ass shirt. But shout out to Alex Perez for that. That was the best bet
That's
I've ever
awesome.
made.
So,
But anything else to add? Are you good?
no, we won't hear much till tomorrow. I think we're good.
All right. Josh Allen, the second best Josh Allen.
I know that you're all dying to know what moves the front office of the Jaguars are making, as they
waiting
are
all day.
known for being a group of individuals in a collective unit that adeptly maneuvers the ins and outs of the NFL season. So there were a couple of interesting moves. They released a bunch of names, right? Like, and that's literally what they are. You can go through the list. There's two on there that are interesting. Rudy Ford and Laquan Treadwell. Treadwell was in a battle with a couple people for a roster spot. They released him, and then later on in the day today, they traded Laviska Shenault to the Carolina Panthers, who apparently just love to take our washed up, terrible draft picks and try to rehabilitate them into something not terrible. So other than that, who's going to make the team? The only thing I will say is if House Call Jamal does not make this team, they somehow waive Jamal Agnew, I will literally find someone that works for the team to punch in the face. I will find you. I don't care who you are.
Technically, I work for them, even though my paycheck is minuscule. So please don't
Listen. You better stay far away from me if they release House Call Jamal. I jest. Obviously, I don't know who's going to make the team. I don't think the team knows who's going to make the team because as I famously said, these people are losers until they aren't. So we'll see what happens at 4 p.m. tomorrow, but they've made a couple of interesting moves. I think Doug Peterson may be the only smart person we've ever had running things over the past 5 or 6 years. So I have a tiny bit of hope that they'll do smart things and maybe not be terrible, but time will tell.
Yeah, shout out to E. Dilla for coining the term hashtag bulk masterclass. So yeah. We actually have a comment from East Coast Gridiron. I think Laviska was not the right move. That's
I disagree with you there, East Coast Gridiron. Old Iron Hand Shenault. He just couldn't catch the ball. I love the dude. Like as a dude, like he's one of those players that you just root for. Seems like a good guy, real energetic, real good with the with the fans or whatever. But like he just he couldn't make plays, man. So it's sad. I wish he was better, but he's just not.
Wasn't
Just didn't pan
Laviska
out.
the guy from Colorado State or Colorado that was supposed to be high from that class? Like he was drafted like in the second or third round, right?
Yeah, he's I believe a second round pick. I'm pretty sure he's second round pick.
Has to be a developmental problem there, doesn't there?
I think some guys just don't pan out, man. Like, I mean,
Scheme fit.
from the group we have. He's the Titans' Des Fitzpatrick.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Nice.
But it's sort of the same story as like Blake Bortles, right? Blake Bortles had a couple of moments of brilliance, and they had that one season that was sort of catching fire in a bottle or lightning in a bottle, and then he just didn't pan out. But like people love Blake Bortles. He was a guy that you rooted for. I think Laviska Shenault was the same way. Like everybody wanted him to be successful, but at some point you got to make room for a guy like Tim Jones, this guy that's been tearing it up in preseason, and say maybe he can actually make an impact. Where Laviska Shenault really didn't. He just didn't.
Yeah.
One more the comments are firing off about the Visca trade. So Victory says, I don't think Jacksonville used him to his fullest potential.
That could be true. I think it might be good for Laviska Shenault to not have to deal with the terrible Jaguars front office and coaching staff. Like maybe he's good and they we just ruined him, and maybe like he has a chance to actually have a career somewhere where people know what they're doing. Now,
Well,
I don't know
that's
that
what happens with
Carolina.
That's what
I don't
happens
think-
with Jaguar players, anyways, right?
I don't know that Carolina is that place, right? Because they don't seem like they're doing a whole lot better than we are. But
it's a well-run organization right now.
yeah,
I mean, they're in a down, but overall, Carolina versus Jacksonville over the last 20 years is
That's
much
true.
better
They have
run.
Sam Darnold.
I don't know. Carolina versus Jacksonville last 20 years, I think it's almost neck and neck if you look at it.
Oh no,
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Carolina's been to 2 Super Bowls.
Carolina.
Did they win?
Should have
win?
won. Should have won one
The
of
Cam
them.
Newton era was more positive than negative.
Okay, I'll give you that. But
Yeah.
I mean, before Cam Newton, and they were
Steve
god awful.
Smith.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, they were awful, dude. Carolina
They
is
were-
not good. You're not like, come on, get out of here. Carolina's not
Okay.
Carolina's not
Second
good.
best Josh Allen.
No.
Come
I'm not
on.
saying Carolina's great, but I'm just saying if you want to compare the two organizations in terms of success, I think Carolina has got you.
Yeah,
guys.
but I mean,
Significantly
but okay, you want to compare them to the worst team in the league? Yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah, but you
great.
just
Well, they
said that
started
they were
out-
neck and neck.
Congratulations, Carolina. I think in terms of overall success, they didn't win any Super Bowls. The Jaguars haven't won any Super Bowls.
Right,
At the end of the
but
day,
you
like
just said that they were neck and neck, and I'm like, wait, hang on, we don't even want to.
I think so. I just don't think they're good. They're not good. They're not
So this comment, I'm going to read this comment real quick, and then we'll wrap
good. Maybe
it up.
neck and neck was a stretch, but I'm just telling you, I think
All right,
Carolina.
That's all I was saying. Maybe we
Yeah.
can. Walk,
East Coast Gridiron says Carolina's history is deeper than ours. That's why we had to pay Christian Kirk so much money. But we said this on a couple podcasts ago. We call that Kirkflation. Okay, that's Kirkflation.
I just need to
The minute the Jaguars pay Christian Kirk all that money, the wide receiver market went up. That's Kirkflation. Got to deal with it. Shout out. Thank you.
that's the most you have to be proud of.
Didn't
I'm the non-biased
Jacksonville-
host.
We
okay?
decided,
Listen,
we decided
understand-
to destroy other teams by overpaying ours.
Understand how terrible the Jaguars are when the most we're sitting here talking about Laviska Shenault, right?
No,
Laviska,
that-
like we're
no, I
like they're
agree.
Jaguars fans. Listen, there's Jaguar fan groups that are having passionate conversations about Laviska freaking Shenault. Like that
Yeah.
is our big news. Like what Laviska Shenault got traded. Like listen, I like the guy Laviska Shenault, but as a
I
player,
think
he's
it's
just
just more
terrible.
of like you guys are thinking about what could have been. You know what I mean? It feels like there may have been unrealized potential.
I think that's the name of the new Jags podcast, Sam. What could have been?
What
Jacksonville
What
Jaguars
could have been.
podcast.
Yes,
Wow.
every year.
How did Trevor play at all this preseason? I actually have not kept track. How do he look?
One
He
touchdown.
looked decent. I mean, he looked.
over
Listen, you
200
can't
yards.
tell almost nothing from the preseason because I think a lot of people.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
fair.
I think a lot of people forget neither team is game planning. They're not really looking at film. You're not looking at actual guys. They're not coming up with the, we'll see, but he didn't look terrible. And that's all. He didn't look terrible. He didn't get injured. I'll take it.
That's all you can hope for. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm excited. No, I do think Trevor Lawrence can be that guy. They have to build around him. He's not a guy that's just gonna pop up and just make shit happen.
Yeah,
They
we're
have
talking
to
about
get
the
a much
Jaguars
better
too
year.
much, but I'll tell you my Trevor Lawrence theory. Either he's really good and the Jaguars will ruin him,
Yeah,
or he was never any good and the Jaguars made the pick they always pick. They find a guy that's overhyped and not good. Now, I think it's more so the first camp than the latter. I think if he's good and he stays in Jacksonville his whole career, they will ruin his career. But
feel like he's
I'd
an
love to be
in-betweener.
wrong.
I think he's
Well-
an in-betweener.
Now that there's actually a competent coaching staff,
So you hope?
we'll see. for the
I
Jaguars.
remember Matt Grieve coming on here this time last year saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what?
Big facts. Hey, get him, Agent Howe. My guy. That's why I like him.
But listen, I think a lot of people expected Urban Meyer to try to at least pretend to care and not be like trying to break the Nick Saban stigma, and he actually did the exact opposite because
I think everybody who's a Florida Gator fan and understood who Urban Meyer was and how he ended his tenure there
That's not
saw that train wreck coming from a mile away. Well, I was talking to people that are Florida Gator fans, and if you really knew who Urban Meyer was as a human being, there's no way that his tenure in the NFL would end with anything other than the god awful mess that
Yeah.
it did last year.
To be fair, like I didn't know what to expect of Urban Meyer. I did not expect that.
I
No.
expected some sort of Nick Saban-esque sort of trajectory out of him.
no, listen, I
Yeah.
I thought he would try. He didn't even.
No, what you've got to understand is that Urban Meyer's a bad human being. It's not that he's bad at football. He's a bad egg. He's just a bad person.
Well-
And everything that
Well,
he
and
did.
that's part of the problem though
evidence of
too
that.
is like when you're able to like because whether his NFL career was terrible, but he's a very successful college coach. You're really good at those sorts of things. You're going to be really terrible at other things in life.
Sure.
Well, maybe I will never forgive him for kicking Lambeau, but I'm the non-biased host.
Yeah,
So let's move on
that's a
because I will
different-
never
That's
forgive
awful.
him for that ever.
Moved up.
All right, Coach Dante, the Texans.
Your time has come, Coach Dante.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
see
like
what you
this whole
got.
time. He's like, God, these motherfuckers won't shut up. They
Yeah.
won't shut up. All right, it's your time. Tell us about the Texans. 53-man roster deadline tomorrow. Who have you guys cut? Anybody surprised you? Who are you anticipating? Let's hear it.
Well, one thing you know about the Texans, Jalen Petrie has been named the starter since day one of OTAs. He's been named the starter. Lovie Smith did have a press conference. He did have a press conference, and they tried to get him to come out and say it was Damian Pierce is going to be the starter. He went out to that, but we all know going into that Colts game, week one, you expect that Damian Pierce, he's going to be starter. He's been the star of the whole training camp. Everybody's picking him up in his fantasy drafts. This guy's really good. He can catch an underrated pass catcher up out of the backfield. He does a lot of tough run-ins. He's not afraid of contact. He has great vision. So he's been the star of practice. Of course, they're trying to work Derek Stingley back. They're trying to work him back because he's come off a major foot injury from LSU. You expect him to be the starter from week one. Our secondary has improved. Since last year. Steven Nelson is a huge pickup. And I'll say not too many cuts are going to be out there, but you're going to know more about tomorrow. I'm expecting Ross Blacklock to book a flight up out of Houston quick, fast, in a hurry. It doesn't matter if it's a 6th-round pick or if he gets released. I'm expecting him to leave Houston. I do not like him in Houston. He has done absolutely nothing since he came from TCU. I'm not a big fan of Ross Blacklock. In our receiving core, outside of Brandon Cooks, I'm really not that happy with. Nico Collins got a lot of potential, but it seemed like he doesn't separate it in coverage a lot. Yes, you want that jump ball receiver in the red zone, but I'm not kind of impressed with that. I don't want my receiver have to catch every jump ball or just be kind of like a possession receiver. I need you to get open and be a good route runner. One thing between him and DeAndre Hopkins couldn't get separation, but he know how to use his hands. He knows how to contend with the physicality of guys like Jalen Ramsey, and Nico Collins doesn't know how to do that. It's just like when he gets jumps, he's thrown off his routes a lot, and sometimes DBs runs a lot of routes for him. But it is potential there. Tight end position, not great. We don't block well at that tight end. So it's rumors that we can get another tight end. And like I said, it's just in our linebackers. Christian Harris has been out with a hamstring injury, but I'm expecting him back in the early part of the season. It's just really no major news at that point. At this point, you'll just pretty much know more about tomorrow.
East Coast Gridiron says the Texans have a very young and scary team already. And then your boy Vic said facts. So I think I joke around and I call the Texans the Jaguars of the AFC South now. But I think the scariest part about the Texans is that you how do I put this? You can't anticipate what's going to happen, right?
There's too much.
There are
unknown.
so many unknowns
Yeah.
that it scares me that they're going to come out and they're going to be breakouts. Also, Jalen Ramsey is a trigger word for me on this podcast, sir.
Jalen
He said-
Ramsey, never heard of her.
He said Jalen Petrie.
Okay. He said DeAndre
Sheesh.
Hopkins could separate from people like Jalen Ramsey, and I was like, oh, I clenched
that's
my
all right.
pearls.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, Coach, she doesn't like the word Jalen Ramsey. It's like a trigger word for her.
It's nice to have a perspective from like somebody who actually coaches the game, because we can actually tell that you coach the game, right? Instead of a bunch of idiots who just like sit on the couch and watch football. No offense, guys. In my
Yeah, you seem really smart, and we
Yeah.
don't. So we're glad to have
We
you.
really appreciate that.
Thanks for making us
Different
look stupid.
perspective.
Yeah. Well, is there anybody that you're expecting like tomorrow, like by the deadline?
I'm expecting Chester Rogers. Chester Rogers, we just got him probably pretty much a day before training camp, but he's already out. I think he's gonna end up on IR. I don't think they're cutting him. It's a little bit battle going on at the back end of that secondary group. I think we may get another secondary player, a cornerback. We're not deep at the cornerback position. But other than that, it's going to be interesting if what they're going to do with Blake Cashman. Blake Cashman had an excellent preseason for us at the linebacker position. It's just his injury history. It's just kind of mind-boggling. When you're not on the field, that kind of plays within the coaching staff's hands right there. So it's just, like I say, unfortunate. But all I know, I just want Ross Blacklock up out of Houston. That's all I want. And McCray, I don't like him too much on the offensive line. I'm glad Kenyon Green came back to solidify that spot next to Laramie Tunsil. So I'm looking at a highly improved offensive line that we got right there. And the defense, I think I like our defense way more than I liked last year, because last year our offense could not score a wet paper bag last year. It's just our defense was too much on the field last year. It wasn't that the team was too bad. It was just the offense was on the field way too much. And when you're on the field too much, when you're on the field too much, when your defense is on the field too much, that means your offense not putting up the offensive production that it needs to be. So I'm ready for the season.
Now, let me ask you, as a coach, okay? You're a coach and you're a Texans fan, and so we usually don't get too many other Texans takes on this podcast because Matt Briggs is normally on here. How do you feel about Lovey? Is he the future?
I wouldn't say he's the future of this team, but I think he can possess a winning culture in his team. You look at Lovie Smith's resume, he has a respectable resume. Any coach that can take a terrible quarterback like a Rex Grossman to the Super Bowl with a defense like that alone, that's something I can respect. And then he got fired. The next year, he was fired after a 10-6 season. He was fired alone with having bad quarterback play. So he does a lot with less, with not even having a quarterback, not even having an elite or a respectable quarterback that people respect. So again, I think Davis Mills has the potential, but my jury is still out on him. My jury is still out on Davis Mills. He has a lot of potential.
Who's the play caller for Houston? Your offensive coordinator. Who is that?
Pep Hamilton. Okay. Pep Hamilton.
Be aware.
I've always loved Lovie Smith. That guy can really coach a defense. I think his problem with Chicago was that he's not as savvy as managing offense. So he's always kind of let it up to his offensive coordinator. So that's why I asked, who is it that you got running the offense? Who's your play caller out there? And is that who you like? Do you feel better about this?
Oh, yeah, I feel better about Pep Hamilton. You know, he's worked with several quarterbacks like a Justin Herbert. He's worked with him, and he's a respectable quarterbacks guru. And also, he wasn't trying to give up too much about the offense in preseason. Of course, you're not going to give up your whole playbook on preseason. You're not going to air it all out. But again, I like the route that Lovie Smith going. He's just literally focused on the defensive side of the ball, enforcing turnovers, and just getting this defense back together. We was top 10 in forcing turnovers last year. So
who was that defensive lineman that you had you drafted? He was a rookie last year.
Was it Roy Lopez that you was talking about? Was it Lopez? He was a D tackle.
I don't remember. Never mind.
That was the third rounder, right?
Yeah, that's a third rounder. He's a D tackle. Roy Lopez, and we got another one that's gonna make this team. That's gonna probably be a rotational piece. His name Kirk Heinisch. Look out for him. And we also got Thomas Booker, who's going to make this team out of Stanford, who we drafted this year. So we got a very good defensive kind of upside right there. But Lovie Smith is strictly focused on defense. He has got no part of the offensive call. That's all Pep Hamilton's job.
Well, the 2017 Jaguars showed you that you could.
Listen, I don't want to brag, but I will have to let you know that this year our passing game coordinator is none other than Mr. Jim Bob Cooter. So I'm just putting the whole division on notice.
His name
right
is,
now.
His name
There's
is
not a better coaching name. I don't know if he's good at coaching, but his name is just fabulous. So Jim Bob Cooter, here we
Jim
come.
Bob Cooter was like a pretty
this comment came through a minute ago, and I wanted to read it, before we segue to Titans because it's so true. If you respect your coach, you will run through walls for them. Lovie Smith is one of the most respectable coaches in the league, and that's facts.
That's facts.
That's facts.
It's just insane, and you know what? It's true with good teams, bad teams. I honestly feel like the Detroit Lions would run through a wall for Dan Campbell, NCDC.
I watch Hard Knocks. I feel like I'm
dude,
ready to
bro.
run through a brick wall.
I agree with that. I agree with
I would
that.
run
I
through a
hate,
brick wall for
I
him
hate that I
too,
found
yeah.
myself liking the Lions a little bit.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
not like I
it's
like the
just-
Jaguars, but I'm like, man,
Dan Campbell is very entertaining.
He's very likable too.
Yeah.
Dude's
Yeah.
It's like
funny.
I'm watching Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah. So
He's very
no,
respectable by the players too. The players respect the hell out of Dan Campbell.
I feel like Dan
100%.
Campbell is what Urban Meyer was pretending to be, right? When these dudes coming in
Yeah,
and
he
trying to
was
get
watching
people-
film, but he was just watching him in the film room.
right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. Though it doesn't matter how good or how bad the team is, they'll run through a brick wall for their coach.
Yeah.
that
That's a
100%
really good
believe
take.
that.
Well, John Ha.
That's a good transition because a lot of players on my squad would run through a brick wall for our head coach. He's got one of those attitudes too.
Until the playoffs.
Well, and he was a former Texan, right?
Yes.
Until the playoffs, right?
Yeah, until the playoff. Yeah, I mean, that defensive
I
side,
think
that
Derrick Henry
defense
will
was
run through a brick
running.
wall
That
for
defense was hauling ass that whole game anyway. So
That's true. 10 sacks is a lot. Well, Matt Ryan will run through a brick wall into the playoffs.
yeah, I mean, am I supposed
sorry,
to
Matt
disagree
Ryan
with this?
Tannehill.
You know, I'm not. You know, I've been saying that it's like we're not going to the playoffs this year.
Well, you could have had your next franchise QB until.
And you're gonna
until
upset all the
this
Titans
guy.
fans, man. They think they're going to the Super
I'm
Bowl.
going to upset them. They're already upset with me. What are you talking about?
All right, give us your take.
Well, preseason, the story really has been all the focus is on Ben Malik Willis. People have been anxious to see what exactly we drafted, what we're going to get. Is this the kind of guy that maybe has potential? And I think we got just that. He's a guy that has potential. I don't think
Do
he's
you
got
think
work
he's going to
do.
be developed under Ryan Tannehill, though?
He's got work to do, and you don't
Under
develop.
Ryan
You
Tannehill?
don't develop under the starting QB. You develop under your quarterback's coach. Everyone knows this.
But that's not what they were insinuating early on. But go ahead.
You ask Ryan Tannehill. It's not
I
his
mean,
job.
we know. Go ahead.
Everyone knows this. But anyway, like
Well, that would be stupid to do that, anyways. In my
right,
opinion.
but
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of what I saw out of him. Part of my question marks come from like our offensive line was just horrendous in this preseason. So what we saw in Malik Willis was that the coaches were trying to tell him like we don't want you to sort of like go Lamar Jackson and just start running all the time. We want you to know what you can do when you deal with pressure. So from week 1 to week 2 of the preseason, he kind of hung around in the pocket a little bit, but because the pass protection was so terrible, he was getting hit a lot. So I didn't really get to see him go through his progressions as much as I would have liked. What I saw out of him, I liked. Again, it's still a work in progress. He's got work to do. There's no reason to believe that he's going to be the starting quarterback at any time this year, unless Ryan Tannehill gets hurt. Because I think we saw enough that I wouldn't be surprised if Logan Woodside gets cut and we just sort of run with 2 quarterbacks in our depth chart. I think that offensive line is where we're going to really want to try to bolster up any kind of roster spots, just because there's a lot of issues with that offensive line right now. I imagine most of our cuts are going to be coming through that. We already traded for an offensive lineman from Carolina today. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see a bunch of people kind of just, revolving door in and out of this throughout the whole year. Kind of like how like last year we dealt with injuries. I think that they're just going to make a lot of moves to just try to fit 5 guys that just kind of communicate together and just have some semblance of protection. Our pass protection has never been like great, but we have been able to run block, and that was nowhere to be seen in the preseason at all too. So there's some concerns with that. Receiver wise, obviously we don't have a
So are you guys tanking?
What's that?
Are you tanking?
I don't work for the organization. I couldn't tell you.
In your opinion, are you tanking?
I don't think Mike Vrabel is the kind of person that has that attitude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
see
I
it.
feel like every ounce of his soul left his body. When
Doug
he was
Peterson
around.
would have that attitude in a Week 17 game when there's no playoffs to be made. He might decide to throw a game so he can get a better draft pick Yeah,
I
I think
saw
you have a
his-
coach
I
that's
saw
more
his
apt to
face.
throw games.
We
So
have
AJ Brown was traded, and I think
has done
his
that.
soul left his body.
But yeah, I was saying, I think your coach is the one that's more apt to throw games because there is actual proof that he's done that. But I don't think that Mike.
The
Vrabel's
joke's on
the
you
guy
though,
to do it.
sir. We're gonna be so bad we don't need to throw games. Like
That's-
we're gonna throw it all year.
That's what it shows what you know. No, wide receivers. Again, all eyes were on Traylon Burks. I don't think we saw enough out of him. He looked okay. He looked pretty good week 3. I think he was fine. My eyes are on Kyle Phillips. Like after the draft, I started looking at the guys that we drafted. I started watching a little bit of Kyle Phillips. I thought his route running is pretty excellent out of UCLA, and he's made a lot of his opportunities of being punt returner in this preseason. And I liked what he was doing with his route running. Again, our offensive line was so bad. Going through progressions to get to Kyle Phillips was a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell because we didn't really start anybody that we were really meaningfully like starting at wide receiver. Robert Woods and from what I can tell, Nick Westbrook-Akina are going to be the 1 and 2, and that's really all you're going to get wide receiver. We're going to pretty much go 2 tight ends so that they can run block on the edge.
I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think Derrick Henry will make the 53-man roster?
This will be Derrick Henry's last year as a Titan.
Oh, wait. Are you? Wait, I was joking.
Whoa.
I was joking, but do you really believe that?
Well, then I answered your question. He's going to make the 53-man roster.
I know, but do you really think this is going to be his last year as a Titan?
Yeah, I think so.
Because
Wow.
of injury or retirement? Or
You can't predict injuries.
you
Money?
just predicted it's his last year. I need more.
I
negative
didn't
comments.
predict an injury, did I?
No, but
I just think again, there's nothing new to this. But when you look at
My mind is
running backs,
blown right now.
yeah. Well, how is your mind blowing?
Is
You know
our
who you're
chat
talking
blowing
to?
Is our
Yeah.
chat blowing up with Titans fans?
Yes, well, no, not with Titans fans, but Coach Dante's people. Which shout out to them for coming on. Victory said,
Yo, bro, I like these guys.
Victory says Vrabel would rather cut off an appendage than take, and then he
Facts.
also said hot take.
Wow.
Well,
You're on fire.
again, this is nothing new. The history of running backs is that Henry's at the end of it. I think that
John,
Yeah.
I feel
Derrick
bad for
Henry
the
is
guy.
built different.
he's built it. Whatever. Like I said, this is like the way I'm going about it is the way you watch stocks. You look at trends, you go off of past histories, you go off of everything like that. Look, you look at running backs, other than maybe Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore, the longevity isn't there.
It's not for Derrick Henry. They beat him
in
up.
2-3
man.
years, I'm going to be telling you the same thing about Jonathan Taylor. Okay, it's just the way it goes at the position.
Yeah,
the
more
drama.
often than not.
Jonathan Taylor.
There's
has
a
lot of
steep
work
there's a
cut on
steep
his
cliff for
Yeah.
performance of running backs.
So it's nothing personal against Derrick Henry. Everything he's given us, I've loved. I've enjoyed watching it. It's just the way it goes.
I think he's going to have an elbow injury from stiff arming so many Jaguars.
Is it possible that he is built different and that he has more longevity? Yeah, it's possible. But again, that's not what I'm basing this off of. I'm basing off of just statistics and generalizations. That's kind of what you have to do. So
Yeah.
there's a possibility that he doesn't have a great year. And like I said, what I mean by great year, we'll just get over 1,000 yards. Maybe he gets 1,100 yards this year, right? But he's still carrying the ball 30 times a year. It's possible that the front office will still keep him because I don't know any other franchise because he'll still be under contract. Is they're going to be able to get anything for him? I don't know.
Well, John, do you have any last comments before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, most of our stuff was really offensively centric. I know our defense, we didn't run a lot of I think the team feels pretty good about the defensive line. I'm a little bit more hesitant about our backfield on the defense. It doesn't feel like we have a lot of stability other than Kevin Byard. I'm not sold on Caleb Farley. There's a lot of things that a lot of things I'd like to see better out of him. He's going to make it. They're going to go all in on these young guys. Yeah.
Oh, you have a Titans fan that agrees, John. They said 2 years, 2 more years with the King. That's it. I agree. # Tighten up. You actually got a Titans fan to agree with you.
Wow. Our
That's
Titans,
history.
our Titan
That's
fan
history.
base, our Titan fan base IQ is slowly going up. That's kind of scary.
#
Right?
Mayo Gang.
I can't. That was a good one. Oh, good job.
That's
The
all right.
second best.
50% of us thought that was funny.
Well, part of the whole Mayo thing is that I wasn't around for when the joke started, so it's like all I just hear is just Mayo this.
It's
Mayo
not.
that. So it's like, I don't know the context.
Everybody thinks this is an AFC South fan battle joke. It's not. This is a league joke.
No.
Oh.
It's a league joke. Like 1 year, the Jaguars during the tailgate, the Bold City Brigade did they jumped into a pool of mayonnaise to make fun of the Titans fans. Like, this is a league wide joke.
Oh, I see. I'm completely removed from that. I don't
It's
even,
too much mayonnaise, man.
I guess.
There were entire sections of the stadium one year when we beat the Titans. I don't remember when it was.
That one
because
time.
it doesn't happen very often.
That one time,
But like the whole stadium was chanting "Titans fans eat mayonnaise" like at the top of their lungs. Like it was.
Hey, you know what? Put mayo on a turkey sandwich. It's a good time.
Gross.
I can't. All right, guys. Well, listen, we wrapped up. It's our final episode before the regular season, and I don't think you understand how happy that makes me. So, Coach Dante, I hope you come on this season because let me just tell you.
Trust me, I am. Trust me.
Bro,
you got more fans than this whole podcast combined, bro.
Yeah,
right.
Seriously. And the regular season coming up, that's when the real fun begins because then we all get to talk about our division. But go ahead and tell us in the meantime, where do we find you in like all your socials and your network and all of that stuff?
You can find me as usual, Coach Dante on YouTube at Coach Dante. You can find me at the Spotlight Sports Network. I am an executive over there. You can find me also at the East Coast Gridiron podcast. My boys Victory and ECG. You can find me over there. You can also find me on Twitter at Coach Dante31 and Instagram at Coach Dante31. You can also find me on Facebook as well at Coaches Dante.
Yeah, let us know if you do any fundraisers or anything for the kids because we love doing stuff like that.
Yes, ma'am. I got you.
Yeah, we'll pitch in and sponsor that. We love doing stuff like that. All right, Harish, come on. We know where to find you, but go ahead and say it.
I'm at the Uncle Gandhi and everything.
John?
The Uncle Gandhi on everything.
Hey.
John, the Josh Allen, the second best Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Gives Up's my Twitter handle. It's probably the easiest place to find me. Yep.
And you can find me on all major platforms with Sammy Football with an I. But listen, before we sign off really quick, we have a huge sponsorship that I can't announce yet, but hopefully next week or the following, we will have a huge sponsorship announcement to make.
So excited.
So
No Titans fans, it is not mayonnaise.
I wish it was
No.
Duke's.
Sorry.
I'm going to try for that one. I'm going to try.
We're in talks with Berman's mayonnaise, but nothing's final yet.
But yeah,
I
so
think
make sure.
I think that's an East Coast thing. I've never even heard of these like brands you're talking about.
Probably. Sorry.
I don't. My wife.
I don't
eats
know.
mayonnaise, so can
I
ask
don't
her.
know Utah's mayonnaise of choice. But anyways, guys, make sure you tune in and check out the sponsorship. I'm super excited about it. Make sure you check out Coach Dante on Twitter and check out his network and his show. And of course, huge shout out to Big 3 and East Coast Gridiron for keeping the comment section rolling. We appreciate you guys for that one. We thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you during the regular season next week.
Also, the Panthers still suck. I don't care what stats you guys put in the chat. Just saying.
If you think about it, next Sunday is still before the regular season.
Well,
We're not on next Sunday. are
We're
we?
not on next Sunday.
Oh.
We won't be on until the regular season.
Oh, okay. So
Okay. Anyways, bye everybody.
Bye.